Chapter 92 Afflictions and the End of the World. Chapter 1 And fear the fitna, which affects not in particular those among you who do wrong. Narrated Asma. The Prophet said, I will be at my lake fount, Kawthar, waiting for whoever will come to me. Then some people will be taken away from me, whereupon I will say, My followers, it will be said, you do not know. They turned apostates as renegades, deserted their religion. Ibn Abi Mulaika said, Allah, we seek refuge with you from turning on our heels from the Islamic religion and from being put to trial. Narrated Abdullah. The Prophet said, I am your predecessor at the lake fount Kawthar, and some men amongst you will be brought to me, and when I will try to hand them some water, they will be pulled away from me by force, whereupon I will say, O Lord, my companions. Then the Almighty will say, you do not know what they did after you left. They introduced new things into the religion after you. Narrated Sal bin Sa'd. I heard a prophet saying, I am your predecessor at the lake fount Kawthar, and whoever will come to it will drink from it. And whoever will drink from it will never become thirsty after that. There will come to me some people whom I know and they know me, and then a barrier will be set up between me and them. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri added that the Prophet further said, I will say those people are from me. It will be said, you do not know what changes and new things they did after you. Then I will say, far removed from mercy, far removed from mercy, those who changed their religion after me. Chapter 2 After me you will see things which you will disapprove of. Narrated Abdullah. Allah's Messenger said to us, you will see after me selfishness on the part of other people, and other matters that you will disapprove of. They asked, what do you order us to do, O Allah's Messenger, under such circumstances? He said, pay their rights to them, to the rulers, and ask your right from Allah. Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet said, whoever disapproves of something done by his ruler, then he should be patient. For whoever disobeys the ruler even a little equals a span, will die as those who died in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance, as rebellious sinners. Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet said, whoever notices something which he dislikes done by his ruler, then he should be patient. For whoever becomes separate from the company of the Muslims, even for a span, and then dies, he will die as those who died in a pre-Islamic period of ignorance, as rebellious sinners. Fath ul-Bari, page 112, volume 16. Narrated Junada bin Abi Umayyah. We entered upon Ubadah bin as-Samit while he was sick. We said, may Allah make you healthy. Will you tell us a hadith you heard from the Prophet, and by which Allah may make you benefit? He said, "The Prophet called us and we gave him the pledge of allegiance for Islam, and among the conditions on which he took the pledge from us was that we were to listen and obey the orders both at the time when we were active and at the time when we were tired, and at our difficult time and at our ease, and to be obedient to the ruler and give him his right even if he did not give us our right, and not to fight against him unless we noticed him having open kufr, disbelief, for which we would have a proof with us from Allah." Narrated Usaid bin Hudayr. A man came to the Prophet and said, "O Allah's Messenger, you appointed such and such person, and you did not appoint me." The Prophet said, "After me you will see rulers not giving you your right, but you should give them their right, and be patient till you meet me." Chapter 3. The destruction of my followers will be through the hands of foolish young men. Narrated Abu Huraira. I heard a truthful and trusted by Allah, the Prophet, saying, "The destruction of my followers will be through the hands of young men from Quraysh." Chapter 4. Woe to the Arabs from the great evil that is nearly approaching them. Narrated Zainab bint Jahsh. The Prophet got up from his sleep with a flushed red face and said, "None has the right to be worshipped but Allah. Woe to the Arabs from the great evil that is nearly approaching them. Today a gap has been made in the wall of Gog and Magog like this." Sufyan illustrated by this forming the number 90 or 100 with his fingers. It was asked, "Shall we be destroyed though there are righteous people among us?" The Prophet said, "Yes, if evil increased." Narrated Usama bin Zayd. Once the Prophet stood over one of the high buildings of Medina and then said to the people, "Do you see what I see?" They said, "No." He said, "I see afflictions falling among your houses as raindrops fall." Chapter 5. The appearance of Al-Fitan. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "Time will pass rapidly, good deeds will decrease, miserliness will be thrown in the hearts of the people, afflictions will appear, and there will be much al-harj." They said, "O Allah's Apostle, what is al-harj?" He said, "Killing, killing." See Hadith number 63, volume 8. Narrated Abdullah and Abu Musa. The Prophet said, "Near the establishment of the hour there will be days during which religious ignorance will spread, knowledge will be taken away, vanish, and there will be much al-harj." And al-harj means killing. Narrated Abu Musa. The Prophet said, "Near the establishment of the hour there will be days during which religious knowledge will be taken away, vanish, and general ignorance will spread, and there will be al-harj in abundance, and al-harj means killing." Narrated Abu Musa. The Prophet said, as above, 185, and harj in the Ethiopian language means killing. Narrated Abdullah. The Prophet said, "Near the establishment of the hour there will be the days of al-harj, and the religious knowledge will be taken away, vanish, by the death of religious scholars, and general ignorance will spread. Abu Musa said Al-Harj in the Ethiopian language means killing. Ibn Masud added, I heard Allah's messenger saying, it will be from among the most wicked people who will be living at the time when the hour will be established. Chapter 6. No time will come, but the time following it will be worse than it. Narrated As-Subair bin Adi. We went to Anas bin Malik and complained about the wrong we were suffering at the hand of Al-Hajjaj. Anas bin Malik said, be patient till you meet your Lord, for no time will come upon you, but the time following it will be worse than it. I heard that from the Prophet. Narrated Salama. The wife of the Prophet, Allah's messenger, woke up one night in a state of terror and said, Subhanallah, how many treasures Allah has sent down, and how many afflictions have been sent down. Who will go and wake the lady dwellers, wives of the Prophet, up of these rooms for prayers? He meant his wives, so that they might pray. He added, a well-dressed soul in this world may be naked in the hereafter. Chapter 7. Whosoever takes up arms against us is not from us. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's messenger said, whoever takes up arms against us is not from us. Narrated Abu Musa. The Prophet said, whoever takes up arms against us is not from us. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, none of you should point out towards his Muslim brother with a weapon, for he does not know. Satan may tempt him to hit him, and thus he would fall into a pit of fire, hell. Narrated Sufyan. I said to Amr, O Abu Muhammad, did you hear Jabir bin Abdullah saying, a man carrying arrows passed through the mosque, and Allah's messenger said to him, hold the arrows by their heads? Amr replied, yes. Narrated Jabir. A man passed through the mosque, and he was carrying arrows, the heads of which were exposed, protruding. The man was ordered by the Prophet to hold the iron heads so that it might not injure any Muslim. Narrated Abu Musa. The Prophet said, if any one of you passed through our mosque or through our market while carrying arrows, he should hold the iron heads, or said he should hold their heads firmly with his hand, lest he should injure one of the Muslims with it. Chapter 8. Do not renegade as disbelievers after me by striking the neck of one another. Narrated Abdullah. The Prophet said, abusing a Muslim is fusuk, evil doing, and killing him is kufr, disbelief. Narrated Ibn Umar. I heard a Prophet saying, do not revert to disbelief after me by cutting the necks of one another. Narrated Abu Bakr. Allah's messenger addressed the people saying, don't you know what is the day today? They replied, Allah and his apostle know better. We thought that he might give that day another name. The Prophet said, isn't it the day of Al-Nar? We replied, "Yes, O Allah's Messenger." He then said, "What town is this? Isn't it the forbidden sacred town Mecca?" We replied, "Yes, O Allah's Messenger." He then said, "Your blood, your properties, your honors, and your skins, your bodies, are as sacred to one another, like the sanctity of this day of yours, in this month of yours, in this town of yours. Listen, haven't I conveyed Allah's message to you?" We replied, "Yes." He said, "O Allah, be a witness for it. So it is incumbent upon those who are present to convey it, this message of mine, to those who are absent, because the informed one might comprehend what I have said better than the present audience who will convey it to him." The narrator added, "In fact, it was like that." The Prophet added, "Beware, do not renegade as disbelievers after me by cutting the necks of one another." Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet said, "Beware, do not renegade as disbelievers after me by cutting the necks of one another." Narrated Jarir. The Prophet said to me during Hajjat al-Wada, "Let the people keep quiet and listen." Then he said, addressing the people, "Beware, do not renegade as disbelievers after me by cutting the necks of one another." Chapter 9. There will be fitna, during which a sitting person will be better than standing one. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "There will be afflictions in the near future, during which a sitting person will be better than a standing one, and the standing one will be better than the walking one, and the walking one will be better than the running one, and whoever will expose himself to these afflictions, they will destroy him. So whoever can find a place of protection or refuge from them should take shelter in it." Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "There will be afflictions in the near future, during which a sitting person will be better than a standing one, and the standing one will be better than a walking one, and the walking one will be better than a running one. And whoever will expose himself to these afflictions, they will destroy him. So whoever can find a place of protection or refuge from them should take shelter in it." Chapter 10. If two Muslims meet each other with their swords. Narrated Al-Hasan. Al-Anaf said, "I went out carrying my arms during the nights of the affliction, the war between Ali and Aisha. And Abu Bakr met me and asked, 'Where are you going?' I replied, 'I intend to help the cousin of Allah's Messenger, Ali.' Abu Bakr said, 'Allah's Messenger said, if two Muslims take out their swords to fight each other, then both of them will be from amongst the people of the hellfire.' It was said to the Prophet, 'It is alright for the killer, but what about the killed one?' He replied, 'The killed one had intention to kill his opponent.'" See Hadith number 30, volume 1. Narrated Al-Anaf. Abu Bakr said, "The Prophet said, as above." 204. Chapter 11. If there is no righteous group of Muslims. Narrated Hudayfa bin al-Yaman. The people used to ask Allah's messenger about the good, but I used to ask him about the evil, lest I should be overtaken by him. So I said, O Allah's messenger, we were living in ignorance and in an extremely worse atmosphere than then Allah brought to us this good, Islam. Will there be any evil after this good? He said, yes. I said, will there be any good after that evil? He replied, yes, but it will be tainted, not pure. I asked, what will be its taint? He replied, there will be some people who will guide others not according to my tradition. You will approve of some of their deeds and disapprove of some others. I asked, will there be any evil after that good? He replied, yes, there will be some people calling at the gates of the hellfire, and whoever will respond to their call will be thrown by them into the hellfire. I said, O Allah's apostle, will you describe them to us? He said, they will be from our own people and will speak our language. I said, what do you order me to do if such a state should take place in my life? He said, stick to the group of Muslims and their imam ruler. I said, if there is neither a group of Muslims nor an imam ruler. If there is neither a group of Muslims nor an imam ruler, he said, then turn away from all those sects, even if you were to eat the roots of a tree till death overtakes you while you are in that state. Chapter 12. Whoever disliked to increase the number al-fitan and oppressions. Narrated Abu al-Aswad. An army unit was being recruited from the people of Medina, and my name was written among them. Then I met Ikrimah, and when I informed him about it, he discouraged me very strongly and said, Ibn Abbas told me that there were some Muslims who were with the pagans to increase their number against Allah's messenger. And the Muslim army saw arrows from the Muslim army would hit one of them and kill him, or a Muslim would strike him with his sword and kill him. So Allah revealed, verily, as for those whom the angels take in death, while they are wronging themselves by staying among the disbelievers. 497. Chapter 13. If a Muslim stays among the bad people. Narrated Hudayfa. Allah's messenger related to us two prophetic narrations, one of which I have seen fulfilled, and I am waiting for the fulfillment of the other. The Prophet told us that the virtue of honesty descended in the roots of men's hearts from Allah, and then they learned it from the Quran, and then they learned it from the Sunnah, the Prophet's traditions. The Prophet further told us how that honesty will be taken away. He said, man will go to sleep, during which honesty will be taken away from his heart, and only its trace will remain in his heart, like the trace of a dark spot. Then man will go to sleep, during which honesty will decrease further still, so that its trace will resemble the trace of blister, as when an ember is dropped on one's foot, which would make it swell, and one would see it swollen, but there would be nothing inside. people would be carrying out their trade, but hardly will there be a trustworthy person. It will be said, in such and such tribe there is an honest man, and later it will be said about some man, what a wise, polite and strong man he is, though he will not have faith equal even to a mustard seed in his heart. No doubt there came upon me a time when I did not mind bargaining with any one of you, for if he was a Muslim, his Islam would compel him to pay me what is due to me, and if he was a Christian, the Muslim official would compel him to pay me what is due to me. But today I do not deal except with such and such person. Chapter 14. To stay with the Bedouins during Al-Fitna. Narrated Salama bin Al-Aqwa, that he visited Al-Hajjaj bin Yusuf. Al-Hajjaj said, O son of Al-Aqwa, you have turned on your heels, yet deserted Islam by staying in the desert with the Bedouins. Salama replied, No, but Allah's Messenger allowed me to stay with the Bedouin in the desert. Narrated Yazid bin Abi Ubaid. When Uthman bin Affan was killed, martyred, Salama bin Al-Aqwa went out to a place called Ar-Rabadha and married there and begot children, and he stayed there till a few nights before his death, when he came to Medina. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Allah's Messenger said, There will come a time when the best property of a Muslim will be sheep, which he will take to the tops of mountains and the places of rainfall, so as to flee with his religion from the afflictions. Chapter 15. To seek refuge with Allah from Al-Fitan. Narrated Anas. The people started asking the Prophet too many questions importunately, so one day he ascended the pulpit and said, You will not ask me any question, but I will explain it to you. I looked right and left, and behold, every man was covering his head with his garment and weeping. Then got up a man who, whenever quarreling with somebody, used to be accused of not being the son of his father. He said, O Allah's Messenger, who is my father? The Prophet replied, Your father is Hudayfa. Then Umar got up and said, We accept Allah as our Lord, Islam as our religion, and Muhammad as our apostle, and we seek refuge with Allah from the evil of afflictions. The Prophet said, I have never seen a good and bad like on this day. No doubt, paradise and hell was displayed in front of me, till I saw them in front of that wall. Qatada said, This hadith used to be mentioned as an explanation of this verse. O you who believe, ask not questions about things which, if made plain to you, may cause you trouble. 501. The above hadith was narrated by Anas through another chain and said with the wording, And every man had his head wrapped in his garment and weeping, and he said with the wording, seeking refuge with Allah from the evil of afflictions, or he said, I seek refuge with Allah from the evil of afflictions. Narrated Anas. The above hadith is narrated on the authority of Anas through another chain, and he said, with the wording, seeking refuge with Allah from the evil of afflictions. Chapter 16. Al-Fitna will appear from the east. Narrated Salim's father. The prophet stood up beside the pulpit and pointed with his finger towards the east and said, Afflictions are there, from where the side of the head of Satan comes out, or said, the side of the sun. Narrated Ibn Umar. I heard Allah's Messenger while he was facing the east saying, Verily, afflictions are there, from where the side of the head of Satan comes out. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, O Allah, bestow your blessings on our Sham. O Allah, bestow your blessings on our Yemen. The people said, and also on our Najd. He said, O Allah, bestow your blessings on our Sham, north. O Allah, bestow your blessings on our Yemen. The people said, O Allah's Apostle, and also on our Najd. I think the third time the Prophet said, There in Najd is the place of earthquakes and afflictions, and from there comes out the side of the head of Satan. Narrated Sa'id bin Jubair. Abdullah bin Umar came to us and we hoped that he would narrate to us a good hadith, but before we asked him, a man got up and said to him, O Abu Abdur Rahman, narrate to us about the battles during the time of the afflictions, as Allah says, and fight them until there is no more afflictions, yet no more worshipping of others besides Allah. 293. Ibn Umar said to the man, Do you know what is meant by afflictions? Let your mother bereave you. Muhammad used to fight against the pagans, for a Muslim was put to trial in his religion. The pagans will either kill him or chain him as a captive. His fighting was not like your fighting, which is carried on for the sake of ruling. Chapter 17. Al-Fitna that will move like the waves of the sea. Narrated Shakik. I heard Hudayfa saying, while we were sitting with Umar, he said, Who among you remembers the statement of the Prophet about the afflictions? Hudayfa said, The affliction of a man in his family, his property, his children, and his neighbors are expiated by his prayers, zakat and alms, and enjoining good and forbidding evil. Umar said, I do not ask you about these afflictions, but about those afflictions which will move like the waves of the sea. Hudayfa said, Don't worry about it, O chief of the believers, for there is a closed door between you and them. Umar said, Will that door be broken or opened? I said, No, it will be broken. Umar said, Then it will never be closed. I said, Yes. We asked Hudayfa, Did Umar know what that door meant? He replied, Yes, as I know that there will be night before tomorrow morning. That is because I narrated to him a true narration, free from errors. We dared not ask Hudayfa as to whom the door represented, so we ordered Masruq to ask him, What does the door stand for? He replied, Umar. Narrated Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. The Prophet went out to one of the gardens of Medina for some business, and I went out to follow him. When they entered the garden, I sat at its gate and said to myself, Today I will be the gatekeeper of the Prophet, though he has not ordered me. The Prophet went and finished his need and went to sit on the constructed edge of the well, and uncovered his legs and hung them in the well. In the meantime, Abu Bakr came and asked permission to enter. I said to him, Wait till I get your permission. Abu Bakr waited outside, and I went to the Prophet and said, O Allah's Prophet, Abu Bakr asks your permission to enter. He said, admit him and give him the glad tidings of entering paradise. So Abu Bakr entered and sat on the right side of the Prophet, and uncovered his legs and hung them in the well. Then Umar came, and I said to him, wait till I get your permission. The Prophet said, admit him and give him the glad tidings of entering paradise. So Umar entered and sat on the left side of the Prophet, and uncovered his legs and hung them in the well, so that one side of the well became fully occupied, and there remained no place for anyone to sit. Then Uthman came, and I said to him, wait till I get permission for you. The Prophet said, admit him and give him the glad tidings of entering paradise with a calamity which will befall him. When he entered, he could not find any place to sit with them. So he went to the other edge of the well, opposite them, and uncovered his legs and hung them in the well. I wished that a brother of mine would come, so I invoked Allah for his coming. Ibn al-Musayyab said, I interpreted that narration as indicating their graves. The first three are together, and the grave of Uthman is separate from theirs. Narrated Abu Wa'il. Someone said to Usama, will you not talk to this Uthman? Usama said, I talked to him secretly, without being the first man to open an evil door. I will never tell a ruler who rules over two men or more that he is good, after I heard Allah's messenger saying, a man will be brought and put in hellfire, and he will circumambulate, go around and round in hellfire like a donkey of a floor grinding mill, and all the people of hellfire will gather around him and will say to him, oh so and so, didn't you used to order others for good and forbid them from evil? The man will say, I used to order others to do good, but I myself never used to do it. And I used to forbid others from evil, while I myself used to do evil. Chapter 18. Narrated Abu Bakr. During the battle of Al-Jamal, Allah benefited me with a word. I heard from the Prophet. When the Prophet heard the news that the people of the Persia had made the daughter of Khusraw their queen, ruler, he said, never will succeed such a nation as makes a woman their ruler. Narrated Abu Maryam, Abdullah bin Ziyad al-Asadi. When Talha al-Zubair and Aisha moved to Basra, Ali sent Ammar bin Yasir and Hassan bin Ali, who came to us at Kufa, and ascended the pulpit. Al-Hassan bin Ali was at the top of the pulpit, and Ammar was below Al-Hassan. We all gathered before him. I heard Ammar saying, Aisha has moved to Al-Busra. By Allah, she is the wife of your Prophet in this world and in the hereafter. But Allah has put you to test whether you obey him, Allah, or her, Aisha. Narrated Abu Wa'il. Ammar stood on the pulpit at Kufa and mentioned Aisha and her coming to Busra, and said, she is the wife of your Prophet in this world and in the hereafter, but you people are being put to test in this issue. Narrated Abu Wa'il. Abu Musa and Abi Masud went to Ammar when Ali had sent him to Kufa to exhort them to fight on Ali's side. They said to him, "Since you have become a Muslim, we have never seen you doing a deed more criticizable to us than your haste in this matter." Ammar said, "Since you both became Muslims, I have never seen you doing a deed more criticizable to me than your keeping away from this matter." Then Abu Masud provided Ammar and Abu Masud and Abu Musa with the two-piece outfits to wear, and one of them went to the mosque of Kufa. Narrated Shaqiq bin Salama. I was sitting with Abu Masud and Abu Musa and Ammar. Abu Masud said to Ammar, "There is none of your companions, but if I wish, I could find fault with him except with you. Since you joined the company of the Prophet, I have never seen anything done by you more criticizable by me than your haste in this issue." Ammar said, "O Abu Masud, I have never seen anything done by you or by this companion of yours, Abu Musa, more criticizable by me than your keeping away from this issue since the time you both joined the company of the Prophet." Then Abu Masud, who was a rich man, said to his servant, "O boy, bring 2 suits." Then he gave one to Abu Musa and the other to Ammar, and said to them, "Put on these suits before going for the Friday prayer." Chapter 19. If Allah sends a punishment upon a nation. Narrated Ibn Umar. Allah's Messenger said, "If Allah sends punishment upon a nation, then it befalls upon the whole population indiscriminately, and then they will be resurrected and judged according to their deeds." Chapter 20. This son of mine is a chief, and Allah may make peace between 2 groups of Muslims through him. Narrated Al-Hasan al-Basri. When Al-Hasan bin Ali moved with army units against Muawiyah, Amr bin al-As said to Muawiyah, "I see an army that will not retreat unless and until the opposing army retreats." Muawiyah said, "If the Muslims are killed, who will look after their children?" Amr bin al-As said, "I will look after them." On that, Abdullah bin Amir and Abdurrahman bin Samura said, "Let us meet Muawiyah and suggest peace." Al-Hasan al-Basri added, "No doubt I heard that Abu Bakr said, once while the Prophet was addressing the people, Al-Hasan bin Ali came and the Prophet said, 'This son of mine is a chief, and Allah may make peace between 2 groups of Muslims through him.'" Narrated Harmala. Usama's Mawla, Usama bin Zayd, sent me to Ali at Kufa and said, "Ali will ask you, what has prevented your companion from joining me? You then should say to him, if you, Ali, were in the mouth of a lion, I would like to be with you, but in this matter, I won't take any part." Harmala added, "Ali didn't give me anything when I conveyed the message to him. So I went to Hassan Hussein and Ibn Jafar, and they loaded my camels with much wealth. Chapter 21. Changing the words. Narrated Nafi. When the people of Medina dethroned Yazid bin Muawiyah, Ibn Umar gathered his special friends and children and said, I heard a prophet saying, a flag will be fixed for every betrayer on the day of resurrection. And we have given the oath of allegiance to this person, Yazid, in accordance with the conditions enjoined by Allah and His Apostle, and I do not know of anything more faithless than fighting a person who has been given the oath of allegiance in accordance with the conditions enjoined by Allah and His Apostle. And if ever I learn that any person among you has agreed to dethrone Yazid by giving the oath of allegiance to somebody else, then there will be separation between him and me. Narrated Abu al-Minhal. When Ibn Ziyad and Marwan were in Sham, and Ibn as-Zubayr took over the authority in Mecca, and Qurra, the Kharijites, revolted in Basra, I went out with my father to Abi Barsa al-Aslami till we entered upon him in his house, while he was sitting in the shade of a room built of cane. So we sat with him, and my father started talking to him, saying, O Abu Barsa, don't you see in what dilemma the people has fallen? The first thing heard him saying, I seek reward from Allah for myself, because of being angry and scornful at the Quraysh tribe. O you Arabs, you know very well that you were in misery and were few in number and misguided, and that Allah has brought you out of all that with Islam and with Muhammad, till He brought you to this state of prosperity and happiness which you see now. And it is this worldly wealth and pleasures which has caused mischief to appear among you. The one who is in Sham, Marwan, by Allah, is not fighting except for the sake of worldly gain, and those who are among you, by Allah, are not fighting except for the sake of worldly gain, and that one who is in Mecca, Ibn as-Zubayr, by Allah, is not fighting except for the sake of worldly gain. Narrated Abi Wai. Hudayfa bin al-Yaman said, the hypocrites of today are worse than those of the lifetime of the Prophet, because in those days they used to do evil deeds secretly, but today they do such deeds openly. Narrated Abi Ashasha. Hudayfa said, in fact, it was hypocrisy that existed in the lifetime of the Prophet, but today it is kufr, disbelief after belief. Chapter 22. The hour will not be established until. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, the hour will not be established till a man passes by a grave of somebody and says, would that I were in his place. Chapter 23. Time will change until idols will be worshipped. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, the hour will not be established till the buttocks of the woman of the tribe of Daws move while going round Di al-Khalasa. Di al-Khalasa was the idol of the Daws tribe, which they used to worship in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "The hour will not be established till a man from Qattan appears, driving the people with his stick." Chapter 24. The Coming of the Fire. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "The hour will not be established till a fire will come out of the land of Hijaz, and it will throw light on the necks of the camels at Busra." Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "Soon the river Euphrates will disclose the treasure, the mountain of gold, so whoever will be present at that time should not take anything of it." At Al-Araj narrated from Abu Huraira that the Prophet said the same, but he said, "It, Euphrates, will uncover a mountain of gold under it." Chapter 25. Narrated Haritha bin Wab. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, "Give in charity, because there will come a time on the people when a person will go out with his alms from place to place, but will not find anybody to accept it." Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "The hour will not be established, one, till two big groups fight each other, whereupon there will be a great number of casualties on both sides, and they will be following one and the same religious doctrine. 2. Till about 30 Dajjals, liars, appears, and each one of them will claim that he is Allah's Messenger. 3. Till the religious knowledge is taken away by the death of religious scholars. 4. Earthquakes will increase in number. 5. Time will pass quickly. 6. Afflictions will appear. 7. Al-Harj, killing, will increase. 8. Till wealth will be in abundance, so abundant that a wealthy person will worry lest nobody should accept his zakat, and whenever he will present it to someone, that person to whom it will be offered will say, "I am not in need of it." 9. Till the people compete with one another in constructing high buildings. 10. Till a man, when passing by a grave of someone, will say, "Would that I were in his place." 11. Until the sun rises from the west, so when the sun will rise and the people will see it rising from the west, they will all believe, embrace Islam. But that will be the time when, as Allah said, "No good will it do to a soul to believe then, if it believed not before, nor earned good by deeds of righteousness through its fate." 658. And the hour will be established, while two men spreading a garment in front of them, but they will not be able to sell it, nor fold it up. And the hour will be established when a man has milked his she-camel, and has taken away the milk, but he will not be able to drink it. And the hour will be established before a man repairing a tank for his livestock is able to water his animals in it. And the hour will be established when a person has raised a morsel of food to his mouth, but will not be able to eat it. Chapter 26. Information about Al-Dajjal. Narrated Al-Mughira bin Shuba. Nobody asked the Prophet as many questions as I asked regarding Al-Dajjal. The Prophet said to me, "What worries you about him?" I said, "Because the people say that he will have a mountain of of bread and a river of water with him. Yet he will have abundance of food and water. The prophet said, Nay, he is too mean to be allowed such a thing by Allah, but it is only to test mankind whether they believe in Allah or in Ad-Dajjal. Narrated Ibn Umar, Ra. The Prophet said about Ad-Dajjal that he is one-eyed, his right eye is as if a protruding out grape. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, Ad-Dajjal will come and encamp at a place close to Medina, and then Medina will shake thrice, whereupon every kafir, disbeliever, and hypocrite will go out of Medina towards him. Narrated Abu Bakr. The Prophet said, the terror caused by Al-Masih Al-Dajjal will not enter Medina, and at that time Medina will have 7 gates, and there will be 2 angels at each gate guarding them. Narrated Abu Bakr, as above. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's messenger stood up amongst the people, and then praised and glorified Allah as he deserved, and then he mentioned Ad-Dajjal, saying, I warn you of him, and there was no prophet but warned his followers of him. But I will tell you something about him, which no prophet has told his followers. Ad-Dajjal is one-eyed, whereas Allah is not. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's messenger said, While I was sleeping, I saw myself in a dream performing tawaf around the Kaaba. Behold, I saw a reddish white man with lank hair, and water was dropping from his head. I asked, Who is this? They replied, The son of Mary. Then I turned my face to see another man with a huge body, red complexion and curly hair, and blind in one eye. His eye looked like a protruding out grape. They said to me, He is Ad-Dajjal. The Prophet added, The man he resembled most is Ibn Qatan, a man from the tribe of Kusa. Narrated Aisha. I heard Allah's messenger in his prayer seeking refuge with Allah from the afflictions of Ad-Dajjal. Narrated Hudayfa. The Prophet said about Ad-Dajjal that he would have water and fire with him. What would seem to be fire would be cold water, and what would seem to be water would be fire. Narrated Anas. The Prophet said, No prophet was sent but that he warned his followers against the one-eyed liar, Ad-Dajjal. Beware, he is blind in one eye, and your Lord is not so. And there will be written between his Ad-Dajjal's eyes the word Kafir, a disbeliever. This hadith is also quoted by Abu Huraira and Ibn Abbas. Chapter 27. Ad-Dajjal will not be able to enter Al-Medina. Narrated Abu Sa'id. One day Allah's messenger narrated to us a long narration about Ad-Dajjal, and among the things he narrated to us was Ad-Dajjal will come, and he will be forbidden to enter the mountain passes of Medina. He will encamp in one of the salt areas neighboring Medina, and there will appear to him a man who will be the best or one of the best of the people. He will say, I testify that you are Ad-Dajjal, whose story Allah's messenger has told us. Ad-Dajjal will say to his audience, Look, if I kill this man and then give him life, will you have any doubt about my claim? They will reply, No. Then Ad-Dajjal will kill that man, and they will make him alive. The man will say, By Allah, now I recognize you more than ever. Al-Dajjal will then try to kill him again, but he will not be given the power to do so. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "There are angels at the mountain passes of Medina so that neither plague nor Al-Dajjal can enter it." Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, Al-Dajjal will come to Medina and find the angels guarding it, so Allah willing, neither Al-Dajjal nor plague will be able to come near it. Chapter 28. Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Narrated Zainab bint Jahsh. That one day Allah's Messenger entered upon her in a state of fear, and said, "None has the right to be worshipped but Allah. Woe to the Arabs from the great evil that has approached them. Today a hole has been opened in the dam of Gog and Magog like this." The Prophet made a circle with his index finger and thumb. Zainab bint Jahsh added, "I said, O Allah's Apostle, shall we be destroyed though there will be righteous people among us?" The Prophet said, "Yes, if the number of evil persons increased." Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "A hole has been opened in the dam of Gog and Magog." Wahib, the sub-narrator, made the number 90 with his index finger and thumb.